Good morning, 7th graders.
Good morning, Mr. Husky.
Thank you. We're gonna be talking about lesson 2.6, which is how to solve equations that are multiplication equations. All right. Last time we talked about solving addition or subtraction equations. Today we're going to talk about multiplication equations. We're going to be using the concept of reciprocals. Say that word?
Reciprocal.
Yeah, reciprocals are these. They are two numbers that when you multiply them together, they equal 1. A number and its reciprocal equals 1. It's kind of like the mirror image of a number, okay? Because it's not the same number, it's another number, just like when you, except that it's flipped over, if it's a fraction, or in the case of -1, it's the same thing. Look at these examples. 2 times its reciprocal equals 1. What is the reciprocal of 2? What is the reciprocal of 2? 1/2. Here's why. You got to listen to this. This is really important. We're going to be using this today, okay? The reciprocal of 2 is 1/2 because 2 can be written as 2 over 1. Okay? If you have 2 over 1, when you flip it over, you have 1 over 2. And when you multiply this, it equals 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 over 2 is 1. All right? 2/3 and 3/2 are reciprocals. These are reciprocals of each other. They equal 1, don't they? Look at it this way. What's 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. And a number over itself equals 1. Okay? In this case, -1 is the reciprocal of -1. Because -1 times -1 is 1. Alright? Now, don't be confused with opposites. The reciprocal of a number is not its opposite. Look at 5 and -5 are what? Those are opposites. We're not talking about opposites today. We're talking about reciprocals. The reciprocal of 5 is... look at the number. 1/5. What's the reciprocal of 1/5? Amelia. It's 5. Yep. They're reciprocals of each other. When you multiply 1/5 times 5, you get 1. Or if you multiply 5 times 1/5, you get 1. Exactly. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to use this concept. You have to write these down too. Yep. Page 2. So, here's how we're going to use the concept, class. Listen. We're going to solve these and we're going to prove our solution because 1 times a number is itself. The identity property of 1, right? It's a multiplicative identity property. And so we're going to use this concept of reciprocals to prove the answer. And here's the step that we're going to use. We're going to solve by multiplying both sides by the reciprocal of the coefficient of the variable. The reciprocal of the coefficient of the variable. Now let's break that down. The reciprocal means the flipped fraction, or a number over another number, because that equals 1. The coefficient, we learned what that is before. The coefficient of 7m is the number 7. This means 7 m's. We're going to find the coefficient of the variable. We're going to find the number next to the variable. And then either divide it by itself, which makes 1, or, in the case of a fraction, we're going to multiply by its reciprocal. So we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of the coefficient of the variable. That's what that means. It just sounds complicated. It's actually really simple. You find the coefficient and you divide both sides by that number. So, if you're given this equation, 7 m's, 7 times m equals 35, find the coefficient. What's the coefficient again of this equation? 7. And then divide both sides by 7. Now, once you divide by the reciprocal on one side, you have to cross it out to reduce it to 1. Alright? So we have to cross out the number in order to reduce it to 1. Okay? Then do the division on the other side. 35 divided by 7 is the solution. How do you check this? How would you check this? The same thing you did before. Put the solution in the original equation. So for our check, if m is 5, then we do 7 times 5 equals 35. And check and see if it's true. Is it true? Of course. So it checks. Let's go to your assignment. Number 2. Oh wait, no, let's do number 1. Number 1. On your sheet. Let's do this.
No, he's just going to use it as what sheet? This sheet, those sheet.
Right, number 1. 6 times x equals 96. Find the coefficient. What's the coefficient of this one, Sam?
6.
What is it? 6, right. Remember, always start solving on the side with the variable. Okay? So we start on this side and use the reciprocal of the coefficient. Yes. Page 96. Page 96. Divide by 6. cross out the 6's because 6 over 6 is 1. So write 1 times x. Divide this side by 6, the same number. Remember in the last lesson, you had to add the same number to both sides? In this case, you have to multiply the same number by both sides. Now, you might say, wait, we're dividing. How is this multiplication?
That's what I was thinking.
You were? Oh, good. Let's look at this. Let's zoom in now, people. Zoom in and see what we're doing. Okay? So, stop talking and listen. Otherwise, I'm going to make you write all this. Okay, now stop talking. We start with 6x. And to multiply this by the reciprocal, we have to identify this as a fraction. What is 6 as a fraction? 6 over 1, right? What's the reciprocal of 6 over 1? 1 over 6. When you multiply that out, you get what? 6 over 6, which equals 1. Alright? So what we're doing, to start with, is dividing because we're getting to this point faster. Alright? We're going to get to this point. I just want you to draw the line and multiply by 1/6 by writing the number over 6. We're multiplying by 1/6, but we're writing it as division. Okay? And then you could do the same thing on the other side. What we're really doing is, starting with 96, starting with 96, and then putting that over 1, and multiplying that by 1/6, which is 96 over 6, which is what we had before, isn't it? But without writing it multiplied by 1/6. Okay? So we're doing 96 divided by 6 and 6 over 6. Hey, so that's what I'm trying to tell you to do.
96 divided by 6.
And 6 divided by 6. Because we have to prove what 1x is. Okay?
Wait, what happens to the x?
So, let's show you what we did. Okay? So, are you kidding me? Just listen, okay? This is where we were before. 96 divided by 6 and 6 divided by 6. This proves that x equals what? 16? Yep.
96 divided by 6. Oh, so it's
Because then you're just showing, you're not getting rid of the 6. If you have a 6 under it, yes you can.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
What do you mean you don't have to do anything? You can just cross out and then it's gone? The rules say so. What? You can, listen, class, you can cross it out when you have a number over another number. Then you can cross it out. You can't just cross it out like that.
You don't need to cross it out. Why can't the 6 win? It's just right, guys.
Alright. Alright, class.
Yes.
Finish this one. Finish copying this one. Finish copying this one.
Yay!
Oh, I forgot to give you your extra assignment. I know, you were doing so well, and then all of a sudden you just like going off the handle. Okay, stop talking. Listen. Listen. Finish this. Check it. 6 times 16 equals 96. That's true. Go on to number 2. 108 equals 9 times x. Start on the side with the variable. Listen, we have to prove these. We've talked about this ad nauseum. Okay? You have to prove the answer by using the rules of math. Okay? So, we have to start on the side with the variable class. Divide both sides by 9. Cross off the 9s on one side. Cross off those reciprocals. Because 9 divided by 9 is 1. So now we have 1x. 9 divided by 9 is 1. That's what we want. That proves what 1x is. When we divide 9 by 9, we're left with 1. So 1x is left on one side. 108 divided by 9 is 12. So x equals 12. Check it. 9 times 12 equals 108. Now again, we're learning a process. I'm teaching you a process. I'm not teaching you what 9 times 16 is. Okay? Or what 96 divided by 6 is. You know that already. I'm teaching you how to prove it. That's what we're learning, is how to prove this. Okay? We have to learn how to prove it. Number 3. 8 times y equals 112. Follow the same process. Start on the side of the variable, divide it by 8, cross off the 8s, because that equals 1. So 1y equals 112 divided by 8. And then check it. 8 times 14 equals 112. So here's our 2 answers. Okay? Now, this is a 3-point question. 1 for proving it, 1 for the solution, and 1 for the check. And when we grade this, so when you take your quiz on Wednesday, those are the 3 things that I'm looking for. You have to cross off the reciprocals. Whenever you have a number divided by the same number, a number over a number, 8 divided by 8, 5 divided by 5, -6 divided by -6, whatever, you have to cross it off. Let's go to number 10. No, let's do number 13. One more. -2b equals 30. So, start on this side with the variable. Divide both sides by not positive, it has to be negative. Because a negative divided by negative is positive 1. Positive 1b. That's what we're looking for, is the solution. Positive 1b. Then you have to divide both sides by the same number. 30 divided by negative 2 is negative 15. So b equals negative 15. And negative 2 times negative 15 equals 30. This is the check. So notice we have to have a negative times a negative in order to get a positive 30. Negative 2 times negative 15 equals positive 30. Okay? Finish 1 through 18 for tomorrow.